All right. Good morning. Let's get this. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. Let me get this up. Chris, good morning, man. How are you? All right. Put this over here. Sorry if you guys can hear the vacuum. Brandon, good morning. Massimo, good morning. Tom, pretty good. Thank you, says Chris. Good to hear, man. All right, let me get this stuff up. Let me get... Ah, crap. I just moved that. There we go. Sweet, 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 sweet. All right. What do we have today? A little bit of a gap up. Not bad, not bad. Dawson, good morning. How are you, man? Matthew, good morning. Hope all is well with you. Julio, good morning. All right. Probably nothing on SPY and Qs. We'll have supply. Keep an eye on that. So we'll have the same thing on Qs. We will. Frutastic Life. Good morning. Dawson says good, thanks. Good to hear, man. Where's RGTI opening today, man? You gonna be up another 10%? Hopefully. Let's see, IWM. Maybe a little bit of demand there. Not sure I'd really want to play off that. NH Funny Farm says, I hope so. Matt, good morning. That'd be nice. It would be nice. All right. I did buy some. I bought some Amazon calls yesterday. Like close to market close. So those should be up a little bit. Hopefully Amazon will keep going. I feel like 220 is so low. Ted, good morning. How are you, man? As for day trades on it, though, nothing I love. AMD, I got here. Doesn't look like much. Not much there. Goo could be good, TLM wise. Depending on what we do at open. I wonder if we'll come back down. I don't know if we'll come back down, though. That's the problem. Microsoft, pretty trendy to the downside. Not a huge fan of that. PLTR hit that demand yesterday. Problem, though, I guess we did break these highs. Not sure I'd love it on a retrace. Maybe. Obviously pretty bullish. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. We'll see. We'll see. Nvidia, probably a little BLM, as much as I would love to. Yeah, that move feels like too much with not enough recovery. It's not the worst thing. It's not great though. Apple, very similar. Very similar. And not sure I'd love that either. Apple definitely has a little bit of supply here as well. That'd make me a little nervous. At least Nvidia doesn't really have that. Hood, what do we got here? A little bit of a bounce from demand down here. What we got in the lower time frame? Could see a break. Could see a break of that supply and look for a retrace off that. We need one heck of a retrace though. That'd probably be, I don't even know if that would be a day trade. That might end up being a swing if anything. Ernie, good morning. Terrell got some actual tickers on my watch this week. Yeah. Yesterday I really didn't like anything. I really didn't. Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't live yesterday. There's just nothing. I will watch Hood. Just don't know about that. AVGO hit supply again yesterday. Barely broke lows. Made another supply here. I don't know. We bounced off this demand pretty decent over here. Kind of worked our way back down. It's kind of just all over the place, honestly. We'll have another 1 hour supply here. Depending on how we get up there, we could look for a rejection. Didn't really get a strong breakdown here either. Just a couple wicks. Not a huge fan. Ever since FOMC thing's been poop. Yeah. Definitely been a little bit of a strange market the past few days. Meta will have some supply. Got some supply up here too on the higher time frame. The Meta itself, pretty bullish recently. I'd be hesitant to short. Could look for a reaction there, but would be a little nervous about that. Little 1 hour supply on coin here. Could look for a reaction off of that. Obviously, coin kind of balanced recently. Came up, made kind of a new high and pushed back down again. We are at a pretty major higher time frame demand though. We might end up seeing a reaction off that. So So definitely have to be careful. Definitely have to be careful. Kind of like the 45 better, honestly. Don't really have any highs to break down here. That kind of depends what we do at open. TSM gaps down a bit. Wish we were opening a little closer. We could look for TLM play. Might just be a little too far to the downside for that. Do want to keep an eye on it. Oracle dropped a good amount yesterday. We already hit that demand. Do you have this 30-minute? Could look for something off of that. Definitely wouldn't be my favorite trade. We need a pretty solid reaction at open. My worry would be us coming up and hitting this right off open. I guess if we break it though, we could look for that as well. We would need one hell of an open though. Yeah, MU I thought was going to be so good, but we didn't break that supply. We just rejected it. Outside of that, looks like we'll move back down to demand here. Could look for a reaction off of this, maybe. See what we get. I don't know, lower time frame. Do have some lows we could break, or some highs we could break there. Have a little bit of supply in the way. That's a tricky one. Would like to keep an eye on it though. First time being here. Welcome, Nate. Welcome. Ted says MU earnings still settling out. Yeah, like that Oracle setup, missed that one. It could be decent. And a lot of these things are just going to depend on the open. Right, like the first like 20 minutes, we've kind of just like, especially recently, we kind of just picked a direction and flown. That makes it really hard to find entries on this stuff. Tesla will have some supply here. There's probably a higher time frame demand, yeah. So we might bounce off that. Although I don't think the break of any of those highs are great at all. Let me just this message real quick. All right, let me open Thinkorswim too. Perfect. All right. Roblox, what are we saying? Pretty down day for it. A little bit of demand. We're bouncing off here. Would not be opposed to longs. Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind that if we break highs. Trend-wise, still pretty bullish. I wouldn't mind that. Maybe a little bit of supply in the way, but not the worst. Uber kind of similar. Maybe say some supply there. That might be a little bit worrying. I like Roblox a little more. Shop, what do we got? Again, some supply. I like that 1 hour supply and shop. Again, trend-wise, pretty bullish though, which I don't love if we're looking for shorts. Boeing, pretty bearish. Could look for some TLM shorts here. That's a possibility. Little 30-minute supply right at the top of our TLM levels. Would not be opposed to this. It's one of the few things I'd be willing to short on the market right now. These went way down. Or so fine him's opening. Pretty decent opens. All right. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to short Spire Qs unless we get a really good reaction. I'd be pretty hesitant for that. I just want to look through some of these again. IWM, no. Amazon, no. I wish Amazon was bouncing off some demand there. Just not, unfortunately. AMD similar. AMD might have an actual decent TLM setup to the downside. I just don't really want to short this just based on recent price action. I'd be pretty hesitant on that. But it could end up being a pretty solid TLM play. You know what? We'll throw it on the watch list. We'll keep an eye on it. The market starts dropping. It might end up being a decent play. Microsoft too trendy. NVIDIA, same thing. I'm more tempted by NVIDIA than anything. Just because we kind of lack supply here. We still have to pop out, which I don't know if we will. Let's keep an eye on it. Let's do that. Apple. Yeah, I just think there's too much supply in the way. As much as I would love to. But it would be a great long-term purchase. Yeah. No, I've been buying up NVIDIA for a while, man. But I do agree. I think they are a powerhouse. AVGO is interesting. Meta, still think nothing. Coin, I don't like that it's bouncing off that 4-hour demand. If that 4-hour demand wasn't there, I'd like it for shorts. I don't like that demand. Tesla. I could draw this supply out just so we know it's there. Uber, no. Shop, unless we hit supply. Okay. It's a decent watch list. I'm honestly not sure I love anything today. I think there's some decent setups, but let me see. All right, let's get that. Perfect. Me too. Nice one. Very smart, in my opinion. I think my favorite today is probably Goog. If we can pop out to the downside a little bit. I really like that. Roblox I like as well. AMD we'll have to see. I wish if AMD was bouncing off, demand, that'd actually be a pretty decent supply and demand setup. Oracle's going to open a bit higher than I initially thought. That could be an interesting play, actually. Okay, we got market open. Let's see what stuff starts to do. Let's see. Hood does instantly break those highs. The good thing about Hood 2, kind of instantly going above those highs, is if we do get down to kind of that retrace area, we happen to be right at sort of that demand we create from the gap up. So we kind of almost have two confirmations there, which is really nice. Goog, same kind of thing. Roblox might be a little high there. You might look at supply there and be tempted for shorts rather than longs if we get the structure. Yeah, AMD flies. Wow, okay. Oracle looks like it'll pop out of TLM, which will be nice. MU drops off a cliff. Okay. Wow, so big reaction off supply here. Big reaction there. Get a good break of a low. You need one heck of a retrace. But it's still in the realm of possibility. Roblox, yeah, I just think it's going to be too far into supply. AMD is just not going to have anything. Again, if we bounced off demand, this could have been good for potential longs. TSM falls. Okay, so if that's going to fall, we're not going to have any demand anywhere near. So that's likely going to be out of the realm of possibility. NVIDIA, where are these lines on here? That's the main question. Where are the lines? Okay, so we do open kind of right in the middle. That would need to do a lot to convince me. Goog comes down. Which could be good. Do we have... maybe a little bit of demand down there? Nothing I'd really use as a confirmation. But if Goog can get back in the zone, that'd be good. Boeing just doesn't pop out. This is what Boeing's been doing a lot. These TLM rotations just happen so fast. You don't really get a chance, even if you wanted to enter. Oracle hits demand. Again, would need a lot for that. MU could look on a retrace. Hood, same thing. TSM's not going to have anything for us. Not anything for me, personally. Goog kind of coming back up. Good rejection of the lows. See if we can accept inside. That could be a very good play. Oracle, huge spike in demand for Oracle. Wow. Be curious if that holds. Doesn't look like it will. MU, this would be more of a, it's almost more of a swing trade, I would think. You need a pretty sizable retrace there. You're talking like all the way up here. PLTR moving down a little bit. It's a very counter trend to think shorts here. Very counter trend. So I need some real convincing for that. Nvidia might just not pop out. I guess you do have a gap up here based on this morning. So even if you don't pop out, could turn this into a little supply and demand play. Goog drops, okay. Kind of just hit the wick on supply there. That might be what's pushing us down. Again, I'd be very hesitant to take shorts on this. But it looks like it might keep going. Roblox. Again, solid gap up. So we bounce off that area. Get a good push up. I still think I'd probably prefer shorts there. As crazy as that might seem. So Nvidia does reject that gap zone. This could provide a solid opportunity. Roblox. Do have, I mean, if we throw that 45 there, come on, make a higher high. Break the low. Could be an interesting move. Looks like a lot of stuff is pushing down. I actually wouldn't mind Nvidia keeping this high, popping out, making a low, and then we can use that high as sort of our confirmation for that move to the upside. I like what Hood's doing. Where does that put us? Right about here. That'll line up with kind of this demand we have there. Wonder if we get a move like that. Hood number 1 on my list. Yeah. I do like it. I just don't know if we get back down there. It's kind of the big problem. PLTR pushing down a little bit. We do gap up, which is a little bit of a worry. So you technically will create demand there. So I'd probably want to see us get below that before I start thinking shorts. If we don't get below that, you could look longs off that bounce, assuming we get it. Roblox kind of all over the place. Oracle breaks through demand. Kind of figured that would happen. We have a little bit more demand here. We can see if that holds. Not that we really have a high to break, but we could see if that holds. I just feel like that's a lot to ask for Hood to get all the way back down there. Man, NVIDIA. Tempting. So we'd probably be looking for, this is a pretty sizable trade here. Let's have to see what that can do. Yeah, Oracle's just off a cliff. Absolutely off a cliff. NVIDIA getting some good momentum. Definitely getting some good momentum. I still would want to see a break of daily high before I started thinking longs. Oracle probably done for us. MU, I still think on a retrace is actually a good short setup. That rejection off supply was so strong. I'll have to see where that goes. It's a really good rejection off the gap from NVIDIA, though. Very good rejection. Definitely need a little more before I would enter. Goog moving back down. Goog could push down quite a bit here. Don't really have any good demands for a little bit. I'd say probably a little below 249. It's probably your next good demand. Probably something like this. So that's got some room to come down. Again, I would never short Goog right now, but it's definitely got some room. Had it hit this a little more, I could see why someone would be tempted. But just hitting that wick there, along with that higher time frame trend, I don't love it. Might end up working, but be very hesitant on shorting that. Hood, AMD, TSM, MU. Fair enough, man. AMD. What are you looking for on AMD? I'm curious about that. Surprised looking at AMD. Let's see. Roblox is just a little too choppy. Doesn't look like it really has a direction. Which I don't love. PLTR. I might just hit this wick and start going back up. Which I wouldn't be opposed to. See what NVIDIA does. I'm curious if NVIDIA wants to make a new low or if it will go up, make a new high quickly. Let's see. All right. It's a decent. Nice. PLTR breaks that daily low. Could get a bit dangerous. Could get a bit dangerous. Yeah, I don't know if that hood retrace is going to come in. Honestly, based on where we're at in terms of all-time highs, I'd probably want even more of a retrace. But the problem with that is if you get more of a retrace, then you're going to break demand, which you don't want to see. So it's a little bit of a tricky one. See if NVIDIA makes a new low. If it does, we have a new high to break, which is good. Just be about how quickly we can get up there. Not a huge fan. PLTR right now. Goog working its way back up. Again, if you wanted to, could look for that sort of retrace move for shorts. I don't think I could bring myself to short Goog. Don't think I could. Really goes against everything higher time frame wise. Okay, NVIDIA might push down. Might get a bit of a push down there. Let's see. I know Tyrell put his list out there. What is everyone else watching? Anyone got any good plays or anything they're keeping their eye on right now? Watching me. Fair enough. Can't hate on that, man. Cannot hate on that. See what NVIDIA does. I think if we do get that hood retrace, I think it's going to take some time, for sure. I think it will definitely take some time. Ooh, PLTR. PLTR breaks that daily low. Again, if you're tempted by shorts, you do have a play there. I'm hesitant with that gap. Higher time frame trend says up. All right, a little bit of supply. Interesting. Very, very interesting. You're always trading hood, man. It's a great stock to trade. PLTR does look like it's coming down. Definitely a good push. See if we work back up or not. assume your retrace is going to be pretty similar to where your break is. Something like that could be pretty good. Is this outside our zone, or is that still in? That's still in. So you still got space for good target off a retrace. I like that. Again, against higher time frame trend, but I don't know if it's going to retrace either. So we break demand, and this starts to get interesting. We just need that retrace, but it might just dump. Nvidia comes down, makes a new low. Should pop out, right? That does pop out as well. I would assume. Yeah, okay. It's kind of a big drop across the board. Wow. See if we get a bit of a retrace here. Hood coming down. Nvidia needs that break of a high to the upside. I don't think it's going to come down. Might just be a missed opportunity right at that break of structure. Just for me, I would have really rather it break that demand first like it did and then retrace, but we might just get unlucky. It might just not hit the retrace we want. Hood pushes down. Could see if we get a good reaction there. Yeah, I think PLTR is going to be too far gone at this point. And hood drops down. Okay. I do wonder, where's your other retrace point? Watch, now that I look for this, it's gonna rip. Just barely off of that. Because that would be something you could do just because we're at all-time highs to still get good risk reward. Would not mind that. I think PLTR might just be too far gone for me. Where I'm moving this morning, is it? Looking at Uber with 50 retrace, like it. I think I just dump a little bit. Patience and having discipline. Yeah, that's exactly it, man. That's exactly it. You said Mara's moving? Oh yeah, wow. Wow. What a rip. You don't usually see that on Mara. Oh, Nvidia looks like it's dumping a little bit. I think all of these have pretty good opportunities. We need to look at, what be looking at risk-wise here. Wouldn't really want to get into this unless we hit that further retrace. And PLTR just looks so weak. It might just be. It might end up being a missed opportunity. Could make the argument, take out the break. Like I said, I think I'd rather wait for that demand to break. So can't be mad at following your rules. Set alert there. See what that does. PLTR, we'll go with an alert there. Goog's dropping hard. Jeez. Hood pushes up. That might be very unlucky on Hood if that ends up actually ripping. Just missed that out by 8 cents. That'd be unfortunate. I mean, obviously expect some sort of reaction in that area, though. So, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. In terms of this, what would that look like? Let's see. Looking at something like that. Spine keys pushing up a little bit, not as much as I thought they'd be actually. See if the Hood moves down a little bit more. Right back down to that retrace area. Keep an eye on that. It's a pretty sizable 1 minute. Man. Did not like that. Let's see what we got working here. That would put us what we need. We need that. That would be good. New home sale in 3 minutes. Yeah, don't think I'll expect much of a move based on that. I mean, you never know these days, but we'll see. Spine cues look like they're starting to make a little bit of push up. All right, let's see. Let's see if we get that pullback we're looking for on Hood. PLTR, I don't know if we will. Nvidia moving back up. I do want to keep an eye on Nvidia because if we break that high, obviously that'd be more of supply and demand versus TLM, because I assume by the time that it'd probably be a little too late for TLM, but MU is just not going to retrace, I don't think. Even if it did, I don't know if I'd like it. Goog, same thing. Really want to short it? Probably not. Probably not. I am interested in all of these. They're kind of playing with me on these retraces, though, which I'm not a fan of. Yeah, I think I'll keep an eye on these. Assuming we get the retrace, I'll probably look for it. I think I like Hood the most, to be honest, just with kind of aligning with the higher time frame trend as of now. I'd like Nvidia too if we push up there, but just need a little bit more on Hood, a little bit more of a pullback for me to want to get in. So what I'll do, I'll wait, see if we get that. Might just go, but I'll wait, see if we get that, and then keep an eye on Nvidia the rest of the day as well. It'll be something I'm into, and then yeah, we'll go from there. But I gotta run a little early today, so I'm just gonna call it here. And yeah, let me know what you guys do. If you guys get Hood or Nvidia or PLTR at any point, let me know. Be curious to see. And yeah, we'll go ahead and call it there, guys. So I know we have a couple entries that are somewhat close, so I hate to leave right now, but unfortunately I have a meeting to get to. So I will see the Freedom Team guys Friday. I'll see the rest of you next week. So enjoy your day. And yeah, be smart, be patient. And I'll see you guys later.